Hi guys, welcome back to Thronefall once again. Today we are playing the first map once again, Nordfels, and we're going for 100%. Here's what I'm using. I have the lightning staff again because it was fun to use last time, and then I have arcane towers, which is 33% range and damage to towers, commander mode 40% damage to units and buildings, but the king does 60% less, and then a new one, we have an archery perk, which gives the archers plus 60% range and 20% movement speed, which is pretty good. Like I mentioned last time, and why I usually use arcane towers in commander mode is because by the end of the map, when things get hectic, your king really isn't that important, it's more so your units, so anything that gives you a buff to that is good. As for the challenges we're doing to get 100%, we're doing challenge the turtle god and challenge the tiger god on this one, so that means enemies have plus 75% health and plus 75% damage. And I'm getting plus 40% points from the second one and plus 20% points from the other one, which gives me plus 68% points total, and each of those are needed to get the achievement for this map. And we're doing two playthroughs on this map to get the 100% because I don't want to do all of the challenges at once because I figured that might be a little much. Anyways, so as you could tell from my perks, my plan for this one is to go primarily for a unit and tower build. And there we go, we're already done night 2. The first 2 nights, not too much of a big deal, mostly getting eco. For the second night, I always get a tower just because there's a few more units. This one, we're getting a few hunterlings spawning and more swordsmen, so I want to get some more units, and I go for a scarecrow purchase because like we saw last week, those scarecrows are awesome against any air units. First hunterling comes down from the north and you can see it dies, and then the second one too, which was the main purpose of those towers because those things do a crazy amount of damage, especially with challenge the tiger god giving them almost double damage. Actually, swordsmen, they get cleared up pretty quickly with my special unit and the towers, and not too much of a trouble. I go for a purchase and I get Assassin's Training just like I did last time when I had the staff, because if I use my special ability, which is this time attack, as soon as it recharges, it only has half charge speed, and since that's the thing that primarily does the damage, it's a really good perk for that. It's also nice that my king gets plus 100% damage. So unfortunately the archers managed to destroy one of my fields, and then I'm looking pretty low. Plant a time attack, and I managed to get them, but unfortunately we're still not dealing very much damage, and we only get about a quarter of their health, and then we die. But we do manage to get in there and deal some damage and stop them from killing the mill, so I'm still going to get a little bit of income from that. We got a lot of racers coming from the south, and those guys love to just go straight for your town center and absolutely body it. So I go to buy some spears to block them, but I actually decide to buy Vikings. And as we've seen in the past videos, these racers, they can be a bit of a trouble, so we'll see if that was the right idea. I spend a bit more money on my farm, and then I buy 2 more houses, because, always need that eco. And as predicted, these guys just charge right through my line. We managed to kill a couple of them before they get there, but there's 15 total. And by the time they get to our base, they start to add up, dealing a bit of damage. And just like that, they're gone. Maybe if we didn't have challenge the tiger god on, it might have been okay, but they essentially have double damage, so we absolutely got destroyed. Right away, I know my mistake, so I spend and I buy a fence, and then I also buy fire archers. I get the other field because these guys, like I said, go for your town center, so they're not too worried about that. And then more houses, because it's always good to get your eco up. The arcane towers are great. Again, look at this awesome range on them. Really makes killing these units good, and compared to the maps that we've been playing in the last week, this first one, Nordfels, is quite small, so it makes a big difference. It's also useful to have 3 perks. As you level up, it allows you to equip more at the same time. When you first start playing, you only have 1, so that definitely makes maps easier, which is good if you're trying to get all the achievements, because the challenges you put on make it quite a bit harder. Buy a few towers, buy another house, and then we're on to another battle. Just bulling around their spawn, trying to plant my sticky bomb as I can. I go in deep, I plant it, and I try to run away from these arrows, and I do manage to just make it. And I'm so greedy with it, I go in for it again, and I'm just trying to get these sticky bombs down. I pull my archers back because they're getting destroyed by these units. Again, as you can see, the watchtower is going down, but these archers really don't do that much damage. They do, however, do quite a bit of damage to me. And while I'm dead, they destroy my mill, which is annoying. I respawn behind them, try to plant a sticky bomb, but not quite. Fortunately, we got a lot of towers in the north, though, and they can range, and they clear up these guys pretty quickly. They do manage to just break through the fence, but they're no threat. Alright, Knight 6 in the bag. They did destroy all of our mills in the south, which is unfortunate because, you know, getting money is good. And this is the flying round, but we're looking pretty because we have so many towers and lots of archers. For this run through, I'm feeling a little like Alexander the Great because we have all these perks for our units. You know, we're a fearless leader building our little kingdom. Next round on this map for the other achievement, I decide to go the different way though. I go for Castle Up, which makes all of your walls and existing towers decrease by 1 each turn, so their upgrade costs gets pretty cheap. But you have to have the towers up, which is why I purchased that wall and towers there. Knight 8, lots of racers. Not very worried, however. We have the walls, we have lots of towers, and these guys just completely ignore my archers and just let them die. However, they don't ignore me, and I get shit on because the hunters go for me. I respawn and then immediately die again, but luckily they don't manage to cause much damage, so it's fine. These units that came from the south there, they decided to go right through the gate instead of walking around, which is very convenient for me. Lots of little guys coming from all directions, but it's not too much of a worry. Ogres coming from the south though, and those guys do deal a fair bit of damage, especially to fortifications, so I decided to buy the Vikings because those guys are great at taking out siege weapons and ogres because they have high damage and they target them. Here they come running out. I managed to do a little bit of damage and then I get smacked in the head and die. Our Vikings kill about 2 before they go down, which is, you know, enough to make a difference. And I throw a couple sticky bombs down and that does most of the rest. He gets to our gate. He does some good damage, but he's standing in fire, so he's not too much of a threat. Buy flail guys. I love them. They're great for clearing out monsters. And I go for an explosive mill, and I fully upgrade it because I figure, you know, that thing's probably going to get killed being right on the front line like that. On to Knight 10. You can see still lightning staff, pretty uninspiring, not doing a lot of damage, but it's alright because we have our towers which can range their spawn, and that does most of the work. I go check out the north. We seem to be holding our ground okay. However, the east, they start pushing in, but they're just pushing into more towers, so. I think if they were designing a map, more maps, which they are because the game's in early access, it might honestly be fun to have a map where you don't actually get to build towers and you have to just have a bunch of units and maneuver them around. Maybe it's a bad idea, but you know, difference makes life interesting, you know, challenging maps. We get through that one, not too much difficulty, and this is pretty much the second to last battle because Knight 12 is just a few weak little guys. Racers coming from the south with lots of archers, so those racers want to go for the town center and annihilate them, and then the archers are going to kill units. So together they're not a bad combination. I do, however, reinforce my front gate, so I don't think there's much of a chance of them getting through. I also buy the hunter unit, which you can see standing around the explosive mill, and these guys will actually switch to melee if units get close to them. Kind of reminds me of the elves in Lord of the Rings in that opening scene where they're fighting in Mordor. Throwing a few sticky attacks down. Swordsman walk over to my tower and poop on it. And I go in deep, but I do manage to get a fat attack in, and I deal about a quarter of their health, which is useful, and then I'm dead again. By the time I'm back, they're all gone too. Like I said, this day is pretty much fake. I go around upgrading some towers so they can get one more discount for the next day. Upgrade all the houses just for shits and giggles. A few more towers too. And we're on these hunterlings. As you can see, it really is like a rest day or something. I'm not sure. Gives you time to get better defenses, a bit more money, an extra day for your mills to kick in. Either way, we're sitting pretty. I fully upgrade these Vikings because this final round here, a lot of siege engines and ogres respawn, and we don't want them getting too close to my towers because the catapults deal some crazy damage to towers, which we don't want. Buy a few more melee units, upgrade a few things, and we're looking pretty good. Starting off in the north, which was not quite the right idea because they started in the south. However, you can see the Vikings go crazy and kill all those siege weapons, no problem, just leaving a few ogres. Those ogres, however, do deal quite a number to me. By the time I'm back alive, they're all gone. Some flying units spawning in the west, but they're no problem for the scarecrows and the towers. But there is enemies in the east. Got some catapults there, but the Vikings are coming to deal with them, and I've already softened them up with my sticky bomb attack, my ranged attack. And they're pretty much dealt with. I go check out the south, it's just a bunch of hunters, and of course I decide to walk right into them, and they absolutely annihilate me. Again, Vikings kill the siege weapons, so we're not really in much trouble. And then we go wander in the north for one of the last defenses they have. Lots of units spawning. They're actually walking down to the south, and we finally get some damage on our own units. They destroy a farm. A second farm, the catapult shot and got it, but by the time it gets its rocks off, our archers are there for the other one. It does actually kill our mill, which is a little bit sad. Our explosive mill never went off, but that's the way she goes. We charge in deep and die. Our units are all in the right place though, so it's not too big of a deal. There you go. Lots of towers, lots of archers, easy victory, no big problem. And we got Turtle God and Tiger God challenge out of the way. So the only one left is challenge the Snake God. That gives you 30% XP and points, but enemies drop 50% less. This time I am using the sword, and I'm feeling like the great warrior Achillies. As you can see for our perks, we have Glass Cannon on, which gives me 80% damage, but I also take 80% more damage. I have heavy armor on, so I have 250% more health, and then I also have warrior mode, and that one gives all your buildings and units negative 30%, and you also start with negative damage, but each night your damage ticks up a little bit until the very final night when you plus 175% damage. So again, these first nights can be a little challenging, but they're usually not too hard. The real struggle comes at the end of the match. First two nights, no problem, kill the enemies, don't even lose any buildings. This night we got the hunterlings spawning in the north and units in the south. I decide to buy a mill, get a couple scarecrows, and we head to the south to deal with them. You can see my special, my slash attack, basically kills them. Unfortunately, that hunterling did not die to my towers, and he just balls down and absolutely destroys me. I get a little bit tilted by that, so I decide to restart, and I say, you know what, I can do a better job. I buy some houses so the mill isn't in such close proximity and on an easy target, and then I go down here to deal with these guys, and then I keep an eye on this hunter, and I kite him a little bit towards my tower so my tower can deal with them. Unfortunately, he still manages to get me, but then they go for the town center rather than the house, and the town center has a lot of HP, so it's no real problem. I go for an upgrade, And as per usual, I decide to go for Assassin's Training, which is the last one you unlock, and I think it's because it really is the best. The plus 100% damage is great, and again, with all of our other damage bonuses, that's really going to add up. And then the half time cooldown for the sword attack is really good, since the special attacks are great for clearing out mobs and enemies and dealing good damage. Some archers here, and they're struggling against the watchtower, but they are slowly ticking away at it. They're also ticking away at my health, so I have to run away. I recharge, let my cooldown come up. I run in, and I'm not quick enough. I hesitate a little bit, and so they do actually manage to kill me. But when we respawn, we kill them all with our slash attack. So far, I'm just going for houses for eco. This round, there is the racers that are spawning. I get some archers here to help me defend. And I'm killing a lot of them with my special attacks. However, they do deal a good amount of damage still, so they do actually take me out. They get close to my town center, and just like last game, they destroy it on the same night. I did not learn a thing. So I say, okay, I'll do the same thing. I buy a wall, I buy fire archers, and I think that's really just what you have to do on night 5. Otherwise, these guys are going to go straight for your town center and just absolutely destroy it. Like I was saying, with fire archers, it's great. Units get caught up in front of a gate, and then all the fire just stacks from all your archers, and they just go down super quick. Enemies just coming from the south this turn. I decided to buy scarecrows, upgrade my tower, and I get my units into position. And you can see, unlike last game, we do not have the plus 60% archer range, and these fire archers aren't nearly as good. They have to be pretty much in harm's way to do anything, and then I have to waste time pulling them away from combat so they don't die. I pretty much place them in the base, and then I try to go in and get a slash attack on the enemy archers, but unfortunately they quickscope me before I can get in. I do spawn pretty well right on top of them, so I'm able to get a great slash attack in and annihilate them. And we go in and manually deal with most of the archers. Buy more houses and upgrade one of them. Enemies spawning in the west, and they're just flyers, so it's not big of a deal. And again, these scarecrows are great. As you can see, it pretty much one-shots the flying guys. And to be honest, I probably should have bought more fields. That would have been a better buy, but the houses work too, and we just lose a gold from the field, so it's not the end of the world. They do get pretty close to destroying our town center, though, so it was a little bit on the edge, but we didn't get too punished for it. Buying another tower. More farms, and I decide, you know what, that's probably not the best purchase. So I decide to go for houses inside the base to be protected behind the wall and not the farm, which might be exposed to enemies. Hunterlings coming from the north, and I'm keeping an eye on them. Fortunately, it is quite nice. My slash attack does one-shot them, and I clear most of them up. Enemies get my mill. Now they're working on the tower, but they're no problem. Enemies coming from all directions today, but they're not too crazy, nor are they going to be in much force, so I decided to go for a mill upgrade, get a bit more cash. And I'm playing chicken with this ogre. He can two-shot me with his club, and I have to give him a hell of a lot more than two-shot. You can see he basically kills me. I go down to like what was 1 HP, but we do manage to get him. Ogre comes through and bodies my mill, which is a little sad. And we're just running circles around the ogre. He can't quite get us in his targets, but we can hit him with our sword. And now they're working on the gate. I go over to deal with him, but he does smash me in the head and I die. But then he gets in close and all the towers range him. He goes away without much trouble. Lots of ground units this turn. Upgrade my towers, upgrade a few houses. starting off in the south, and I leave the rest of my units up north to deal with the enemies that attack, because they have to come in towards my town center. These guys, they go hit my mill first on their way to the town center, and I don't want them doing that. And as you can see, all my damage upgrades have finally gotten to where I want them to be, and I can just one-shot all the enemies as they spawn, which is great. They do get a couple lucky hits in, and then the ogre spawns, and so that's pretty much all I can do. I move up north and I see, oh, okay, my troops have not done as good as I hope they have, but I come in and do an absolutely massive slash attack and kill like 15 swordsmen there. These guys, just like I was saying, are going for my mill. They kill half our farms, but I do manage to stop them from destroying everything completely, which is good. And we kill those ogres too. Go for another upgrade. And all the options were looking tempting to me, but I just go for Royal Mastery. Plus 75% health, great. And then again, another attack damage buff. Can't say no to that. Last night before the real battle pretty much, since again, the next one is a fake one just to give you more money. These guys charging right for my town center. And we're hitting them up. Drag my archers back so that their archers can't deal too much damage. I don't like how many racers are in front of the gate, so I wait until I get a recharge and then I wipe them all out with an attack. I do the same with the archers down there. And as you can see, this tactic is completely different than the last time. Really, my units are doing okay, but it's me coming in with the splash damage that's killing all the archers. They do manage okay against the archers over there because the archers don't do too much damage against buildings, so the towers are able to pick them off. Upgrade some archers, bring them over to the east to kill the hunters, and the night is over in pretty much the blink of an eye. Buy Vikings because this night catapults spawn, and you don't want the catapults to be hanging around for too long because they will one-shot your wooden towers like that. Get more walls, and I upgrade them to stone in the front because that's where the brunt of the enemy attack would be. Instantly die right off the bat, which is a classic. As you can see, the catapult unfortunately managed to get one shot off, and so he insta-kills my tower. It's a bit annoying because that's the one that ranges spawn. Enemies in the east, I walk up and basically kill all their units in one hit. Wandering around as they spawn, clearing a few up. In the east we get most of them, and then I see the Vikings are headed for the catapult, so we should be good. Lots of enemies spawning in the north, and we do the flyers, and they're going for my houses, but that's okay, because we're not getting any money tomorrow anyway, because the game's over. Killing these guys, and as you can see in the north they decide to go for the closest gate, and they get it pretty damn low, and there is a lot of them, so I go up, and boom, kill like 10 of them with a single hit, which is great. Brief moment of respite before the enemies come, and the final push comes from the south. Vikings trying to take out the ogres, but these archers are pinning them down. I give my archers free range to get a little bit closer. And I go in for the archer kill, and holy, they're all pretty much gone, so now it's just the ogres. And they decide to walk around instead of going through the front gate because it's really open, which gives everybody lots of time to pick them off. And with that, they're done. 100% on Nordfels. We've done all of the achievements, which included those challenges, and it was not too bad. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Thronefall series. Let me know if you'd like to continue, and good luck.